We have no excuse to not have a global superstar. We have the numbers, bro. Like, we have the hype. We have people who are tapped in, who will consume content avidly. We have everything. We have genuinely, Sam, we have zero excuse to not have a global superstar. It's actually embarrassing that we don't have one. Yo, what's up, guys? And for the first time in 2026, welcome to episode 164 of the 30% podcast, brought to you by a fine African man, aka Afam, and my amazing co-host, Sam the Jedediah Are. And together, we form the 30% podcast, a podcast created by us to talk about the Kenyan music industry. And we are officially in our third year of podcasting. Sam, what's up? Tell the people what's up.
No, it's the fourth year. You're counting wrong.
I'm counting wrong. This is when we discovered that Afam doesn't know math. Well, this is the fourth year of the podcast. I forget you need to include 2023 in the calculations.
Yeah. It's okay. 2023 never gets included in anything. What's going on? That's a lot of energy.
It's a lot of podcasting
for the start of the year.
That's what we have. That's what we bring on the 30% podcast. We bring energy, right, Sam? Yeah, we bring energy.
No, in fact,
May I speak for myself? I bring energy.
There you go. Speak.
I bring vibes,
and I bring balance. What's going on, man?
That's actually
it's
true.
A new year.
That's actually very true. It's a happy new year, guys. Happy new year. I've missed you guys, man.
Happy new year on what date is it? Happy new year. The year is almost over, man. Yeah, happy new year, bro. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. What are the holidays near? Happy birthday to all of you if you're celebrating your birthday in January and February. Let's just get them out of the way quickly.
Okay, yeah, I guess so. Yes, yeah. Let's. Anyway, Sam, how did you spend your New Year's Eve and your New Year's? Did you get a New Year's kiss under the mistletoe? Is it under the mistletoe?
Yeah, that's funny. First, I feel like that question is disrespectful. What do you mean? What do you mean? Did you get a New Year's kiss under the mistletoe? Was Christmas too? No one uses unless you still leave your Christmas decorations up. Yeah, you're getting your.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Wrong. No, I did not get no New Year's kiss. I got some sleep though, so I guess that's just as good. It might be even better, honestly. It might be better than a New Year's kiss.
Our lives are tragic, bro, because I was working on the 30th, the 31st, the 1st, and the 2nd, and therefore I had no time to do any New Year's Eve festivities.
Kissing. Yeah. That's crazy. Wait, working, so did you work like were you working
pillow
through the 12 o'clock or did you have time to like rest and chill and look at fireworks outside your window?
Yes, Sam. Unfortunately, I was watching the fireworks. Like, bro. Listen, I had to report at work like at 9 a.m. sharp, and usually it takes me a while. So, yeah. So unfortunately, I was just like, I'll just take it easy and be indoors.
It's all right though. Like, what's the significance in doing like the big crazy thing and fireworks and all of that. Like it's I mean it's cool.
It's humanity. It's part of the human experience, Sam. Like,
my
just
ancestors didn't do
listen.
no fireworks.
Okay, fine, but like, listen, we are not our ancestors, and also like. Like,
We are not
listen,
our
why
ancestors, in fact.
yeah, we aren't, but why don't you want people to celebrate things? Yes, I know technically your argument holds. It's just another day. Time is time. It's all linear.
It was
Every day is
Thursday,
every
though.
day, blah blah blah. Yes, but then Sam, for it means so much to so many people, and that gives it meaning. You know, we actually give life meaning. Otherwise, everything is meaningless.
It's actually true. Yeah. It's all these things are subjective and arbitrary, and it's human beings who make them what they are. So shout out to the new year, man. Shout out to saw some fireworks, some really good ones, some very pitiful ones.
Yeah.
On social media the next day. I mean, but yeah, it was I mean it was chill. It was chill. Didn't do much. Just was very calm. The next day was cool, played with dogs, sat outside in the sun.
What else have you been up to since then?
Making ignorant music, or trying at least.
Really?
Yeah, that's that. I've been doing everything. I've been making like blends between genres. In fact, I haven't made an Afrobeat beat in such a long time. I feel like I've forgotten how to do that, or a hip hop beat. Oh no, I did. Oh no, I made a really cool hip hop beat. I'm working on a remix for some interesting people. I hope it gets to come out at some point. But yeah, did a couple of remixes actually. Still doing a lot of deep house stuff and figuring out how to do that. So yeah, just that. Haven't done much else. Yeah, what have you been doing apart from working?
Aside from working, I've been reading. Welcome to Afam's book club by Afam. Now I've just been reading. I finally finished the series that I was reading. Well, it was a trilogy. I remember I told you it was 10 books, which it is. But like the first 3 books are like a trilogy that you can read on their own. The Farsia trilogy by Robin Hobb. Finally finished the last book is or the third book is called Assassin's Quest, and bro. Shout out to my guy Fitz Chivalry, man. If you guys have read the book, you know about Fitz Chivalry, and the feelings I have. I feel so. Anyway, I don't want to give any spoilers, but shout out to the Fitz. And then I started a new book. Bro, what is it called? It's Jade City by I think it's called Fonda Lee. I'm really getting into this like fantasy realm.
Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, because I actually thought about this week. Interestingly enough, so you read when you're reading. First off, what time of the day do you sit down to read books?
Anytime. Like usually when I'm in the subway, when I'm going to work, I'm reading. When I'm coming back from work, I'm reading sometimes. Before I sleep. Most times it's before I sleep. So yeah, like for an hour or 2 sometimes even.
Okay, so you're not so okay. That puts a bit, because I'm like, when do you just like all right, my afternoon is for reading, and you just sit down.
Sometimes
with a
no,
book.
sometimes, bro. Sometimes I'm like, it's 4 p.m. and like I've watched everything that I wish I could watch, and then I don't feel like overcommitting on a new series, so I'm just like, yo, let me just read. And then you just read for like 3 hours, and it's fire, man. It's fire. But anyway, you all need to check out this trilogy I'm talking about. It's the Green Bone Saga. It's another trilogy, so I'm locked in for another 3 books, man. You know, there's such a comforting feeling when you're locked into another trilogy. It's like, ooh, like it's like when you know you have like 4 seasons to catch up on a series. It's a good feeling. Anyway,
No, that's
I
good.
also
Hey,
have
listen, I'm glad, because knowledge is power. And what they said, and you put if you want to keep an African man away from what's the saying? Put him in a book. No, if you want to keep knowledge from an African man, put it in a book. not him. Put it in a book. So you're
Yeah,
definitely.
but is it, I think that no, but is it just African people? I feel like people in general
Well,
don't
yeah,
do
it's people
reading
in general, but they
nowadays.
said it about African men. It's kind of
Then
racist. Whatever.
I hate whoever said that. Then, um, I wanted to say, I also do have some life news, guys. So this is actually the last podcast which I will be recording from this specific location. Yeah, so I have made the decision to kind of come back. I've made the decision to move back home. So, yeah. From now on, the podcast is going to be coming from you live from Kenya, like with both me and
This
Sam.
this podcast has never come in live from anywhere. It's never been live.
well,
Never.
well, things are changing. Things are changing, and yeah. So yeah, it's New York has been an amazing experience. One that I would never trade for anything. But I've decided to move back home. So just wanted to let you guys know that hopefully Sam and I can now do things together, like Sam, we're gonna be bonding a little bit more. How do you feel about that? We're gonna bond some more, man. You're gonna see more of me. Does that make you happy?
It doesn't change the way. Yo, I don't like this energy. You're bringing so much energy, and then I feel like I'm just ruining everything. I feel like I'm ruining. I
You're
mean,
not
it'll be
ruining
cool.
anything.
It'll be cool. Would you, at some point, you don't have to do it today. Would you want to like give us? You should give us a little bit of your experience out there. Just in general.
Oh yeah. I actually, yes, I will give a real like.
Give us a
I
New
can
York
gi-
review. Give us a review
Do
of
I have
New
to
York,
do that
man.
now?
Yeah.
Do you want me to do that now?
I mean, you can get to it.
You want me
can
to
get
do that
it.
now?
There's not much.
Okay.
There's not much going on in the
Um,
industry. You can get to it.
Well, I can just say that New York is a very, very competitive place. In the life, I'm too competitive. Sorry, that's a TikTok thing. Sorry, guys, I'm so sorry. So yeah, New York is very competitive, but it's also, like I said, it's one of the best places to be, especially when it comes to like music industry, creative scene, actually any scene, like because there's so many people who come here. Like there's so much diversity, there's so much culture. And that's the thing. Everybody comes from where they come from, and think about it. It's so many brilliant individuals just like concentrated in one place. It's very, very tough. And then it's also very, very expensive to live here, and it's not for the faint of heart, man, because this place will swallow you up, man. Like literally, like it's just it's an insane place to try and like succeed in, but once you succeed in this place, you can succeed anywhere. And that's actually like, I know everyone usually says that, but it's
Every
actually
city,
real.
every city says that about themselves. So if you make it in Nairobi, you can make it.
No,
everywhere.
but people say that. No, but people say that for about New York because it's true. Like if you can afford to like live comfortably in New York, you can actually afford to live comfortably anywhere because this place is stupendously, outrageously expensive. As far as music industry things go, as you guys know, I moved here because I wanted to do more music industry related stuff, and which I did. But I've realized I really want to explore more about the African music scene. I think that's really more my lane. That's what I've realized by being out here. Sometimes you need to experience something to gain answers about something else. And for me, I realized like back home, the stuff that I was doing in the music scene, the stuff that me and Sam are building together, like that stuff really means a lot. And I think those are the things that I really want to build on for now, essentially. So yeah, that's been my experience. But New York can be a very lonely place, like because I don't know, it's just a lot happening, and everybody's kind of focused on themselves. I get it because everyone is just trying to like survive. So yeah.
That's cool. Well, home is waiting for you, I guess. And I
For
mean,
sure,
I would
man.
say I've heard a bunch of people talk about just being out there. Many people obviously move out to the West in terms of like for music opportunities and everything. it's interesting that you're moving back here, and we definitely need that. A lot more creatives wanting to build something from their home and just build the economy, build the creative economy rather. So that's dope. That's dope. Yeah,
Yeah,
mad
but hey,
opportunities
listen,
here.
if people have the opportunity to do something, I really do say you should. But for me, this is just on my personal journey. I've realized I think I can do way more back home. But yeah, man, Sam. Speaking about people who have gone abroad and then come back home and had epiphanies. So actually, yeah, let's start here. Valerie Mudoni, who is a very popular music personality in the country, she released well she did she made a TikTok video kind of ranting about gatekeeping in the country. And we've had the gatekeeping conversation a lot, but the thing that or the angle that she took was interesting because she was talking about the crabs in a bucket mentality that we have in our society at the moment, where it's like a few people will have opportunities, but then they won't avail them to the people who are deserving of said opportunities. And it's usually because people could have this like feeling that, okay, this person can become really big. And I think because that kind of triggers like some sort of fear that, oh my God, like this person can actually really like become a Tyler or Rema or whatever. Like they try and like step on their energy because everybody in the scene just wants to remain where we are together because it's like it's less scary. It's like I don't know, it's just like a very toxic kind of thing, where crabs in the bucket, you don't want the crabs to get out, you don't want the other crabs to leave the bucket, you just all want to stay stagnant and not like progressing. And I thought it's an interesting conversation to have. And I wanted to ask you, Sam, if that's something that you've observed in our scene, like actively.
I mean, I don't know. I've heard enough from personally. I've heard enough from people, from different people, different scenarios, different situations, to know that that's a thing that happens. If I'm believing all of them, I find it really hard to believe though. Like maybe just because I believe in the humanity of people. Like I genuinely, like when you're talking, I'm like, do people actually say, oh, this person could become huge, or they could be so big, they could like offer so much creatively. Let me keep them from doing that because I don't want to see that. Do people do people actually do that? Like that's such a weird way of thinking. But no, I've heard definitely there's a lot of people who have talked about it, like personal things and things they've seen with other people, to believe that that's a thing that happens. And it's a thing that happens because human beings are human beings and they're imperfect. So yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think about whether that has ever happened to me.
I've seen it happen, like where so I've had like young producers tell me about, I wouldn't say names, but I've had like a young producer, well, at the time they were young, and they were like, yo, I came into the game and there's certain people who it's like they feel insecure because the way me I approach music is like with a new like perspective and a new approach, and I'm doing new shit like that's more like now, and then this person is just used to making music in the old way, and so now they don't really want me to be in the studio as much because like they feel kind of threatened by my new approach. And I'm sure you've experienced that in some way.
I was just thinking about it, and I definitely have experienced it. Again, not mentioning names, but then there was a couple of situations where I could have, like really earlier on, could have like worked with or had the opportunity to work with some of like the bigger artists in the country, and I was just new and fresh in. But then, yeah, that was the person who is involved did not really, I guess, did not. It made it seem like, oh no, like you need to get some legs first. You need to get some experience before you go for like the big dogs. Which is absolute nonsense. Now that I think about it, it was absolute nonsense. Like you don't have to climb the ladder. You can just really jump straight to the top if you have the talent to and the ability to. So yeah, definitely. No, I've experienced the crab that firsthand now that I think about it. So it is a thing that actually more than once from that same person too. The things that it's just gross. Like how terrible can you be? How terrible are you to keep someone from achieving their full potential because it hurts your feelings?
So I think it stems from insecurity. I think a lot of the people who have these things, it's like you don't want to be left behind. Especially when you observe people coming up in the scene and it's like, damn, damn, you know what I mean? I've been doing this for so long and I haven't really been as successful. Like, I feel like people get insecure because and it's crazy to say, but sometimes other people's success becomes a reflection on your
Lack thereof.
your lack of success, right? And I think that's how people internalize a lot that happens in the world. And sometimes even it's like a subconscious type of thing. You know what I mean? That happens.
Yeah.
And so mhm.
No, I was just going to say, especially in the music scene, because music has a lot, creativity, let me say art as a whole, but since we're talking about music, it relies a lot on community and cosigns from other people and just like moving together and people, hyping you up and saying, or giving you positive feedback. And so that mentality can greatly hinder a creative success in that way, because essentially what people are doing is that they're actively taking away your opportunities to succeed. So I do that. I feel like it could hurt. I mean, it hurts everywhere, but then in the creative scene too, since it's just a very community based thing, at least in my mind, it is. It's not individual. It's not solo. Yeah.
So here's my question. Do you think it's possible to bypass some of these things? Okay, so fine. We've acknowledged that there's some people who hold opportunities, right? And they have essentially like the key to what you're looking for. But do you think it's possible to say, y'all have that. I'm going to do my own thing over here and thrive at it? Do you think that's a better approach than, sitting down? And I'm not saying this is what Valerie is doing. I'm just saying in general, because even me, I've done it where it's like you think there's an obstacle or there is an obstacle, right? And you're like, oh my God, how am I going to surpass this? If it feels like the end of the world, essentially if you don't get certain opportunities. But then is that really true? Do you think it's possible to be like, I'm going to just create my own thing. I'll use my own platforms and thrive in my own ways? Or are these gatekeepers that we have in our scene the end all be all?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we're all in the bucket, aren't we? So that's.
But do we have to be? We can, physically we are, but mentally we don't have to.
Yeah,
be
and that's the thing.
Together,
that's like the starting point. Yeah, that's the starting point. The starting point is just being in that. And I don't know where, when I think of crabs in a bucket, what color is that? But the bucket is always red for me. But that's just it's a
red.
It's a side point.
For me, it's a gray bucket because
Really?
it's just gloomy.
No, I think of a red bucket with a white handle. But anyways, you start. We all start from there. There's different ways to look at it. I think one, again, like I said, I think just because music is the creative world is a communal thing. It's a community-based thing for the most part. At some point you're going to have to encounter human beings, and you're going to have to rely on a human being, or for you to achieve further levels of success. So you're going to have to now. Your mentality about that is now what I guess what you're talking about is it beneficial to sit down and constantly be playing the obstacles that you have come in contact with, or find ways to bypass them? And of course, finding ways to bypass them is the way to go there. Life is all about obstacles. As a creative, from the starting point, it's how much can you do to get over even just the fact that the point of creating. There's a lot of tension within self in terms of creating. At least I've experienced it within self. And so it's all about figuring ways to get over that, to put what you need to put out into the world. And so then that becomes priority. I think the most successful artists are the ones who figure out how to do that in the best way, either use people or bypass them. But you can't fully bypass people because they're always going to be there. So you're almost always subject to another crab.
No, you can. Oh, okay, yeah. Yes, there's layers to the crabs that you have to bypass.
Crabbiness. Layers to crabbiness.
And to add on to that, I feel like in Kenya, like the whole one way I always observe this whole crabs in a bucket mentality is, like Kenyan artists don't do this, Kenyan artists don't do that, like we don't have a genre, this genre won't appeal internationally. All the, like, there's always problems that people are always pointing out.
Yeah.
And it's so boring to me. It's like there's always I feel like there's a lack of belief that somebody can extricate themselves from this bucket that we live in. But then I also feel like there's a fear that whoever does it, like, will leave everyone behind. There's a secret fear. I feel like there's a secret, like, underlying, like, we don't, like, people would be comfortable. This is crazy for me to say. People would be comfortable if BN, for example, like, became the biggest, like, thing in Africa, right? But I think people would be very uncomfortable if the biggest thing was just like some random artist and they far surpass BN and everyone, and like they become the focal point. I think people will be very uncomfortable about that.
Why?
Crabs in the bucket mentality. For example, okay, we all know like Colors was a very contentious thing that happened many years ago now.
Oh man.
But like and for valid reasons. But I just want to isolate this one example, because even me, I was on the side of like Colors having been should have been curated a little bit better. But like with Zoe Kengocha, for example, right, she hasn't done much. At least at that time in her career, people would argue like she hadn't done much in her career to warrant getting that position. So I think Zoe, in my opinion, and I'm biased because I've heard her on my projects and I've worked with her multiple times. I think she's a really, really talented artist. Like, and when it comes to that genre of R&B, if we are going to that, if that's the genre of R&B you're curating for that specific thing, I think she's one of the greater voices out there. Now, a lot of people would be very like upset because like Zoe is fresh, is new, her approach is different. Like people don't really know who she is. I feel like people were also very like intimidated by somebody like Zoe, and there was just like a sentiment that there could have been other people ahead of her, but it wasn't based off of her performance. Now, if she was on that platform doing bullshit, then of course, but like she wasn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's just one example. I just think there's that fear. Like, bro, I'm telling you, Sam, if somebody just comes out of nowhere and becomes the best like artist in Kenya, there'll be a lot of hate.
I don't know. I don't think so.
In the initial stages. I think so.
Well, yeah. In the initial stages,
In the initial stages, yeah.
they are going to face. So what you're saying is that they'll face more opposition than an artist would usually face, because all artists are going to face that resistance in the
But it's,
beginning
you
that
see,
they have to break through.
So what I'm trying to say is, like, people are more comfortable with the status quo, in a sense. People don't like disruption, right? That's what I'm saying. If BN was to just like completely have a run, like, everyone will be comfortable and okay with that, because that's what we expect of BN. But if it was someone else, nah, we're gonna step on that until it's undeniable. 'Cause it's just the same way how we always say, like, Tyler also faced like internal like hate in South Africa before she blew up and it became undeniable. Like, there's always that
And then
sentiment
faced
of
external
if
hate.
the yeah, for real. But it's that whole sentiment about a prophet is never accepted in their own home thing. Like, yeah, there's elements to that.
Prophets and crabs. Yeah, I mean, it's
Prophets and crabs.
it's to some extent it's true. I think there's a general level of resistance that you'd face as an artist. But maybe what you're saying is true, because when we tend to what do you call it, experience that a lot here. Like, I've had so many people talk about it as where, like, you're not going to be big and people are not going to accept you until you prove it elsewhere, until you have a collaboration with a huge American artist, or you have Wizkid on your song, or you produce for this person, or whatever it is. Like, you're not good. People only begin to mess with you once they see that you have some sort of value elsewhere. And in some, that's like a crab in a mentality thought too. Like, in thought, it's just like, I mean, that's crab mentality in thought, because it's like, why do you feel like you need to support someone only when they're successful? And it's the people who go against that mentality that are responsible for that artist getting to where you feel like they should be first. Because if me and you are supporting a random artist out of nowhere, and everyone else is saying, nah, they're not good enough, or they're not going to be big enough until they go outside and they go and do something big, then it's our support that gets them there, sort of.
Stay there.
That makes sense.
Stay there. More crabs in a bucket mentality, just based off of that. This recent IShowSpeed stream has opened my eyes to so much. So we're recording this on the day Speed was in the country. I'm sure by the time you guys are listening to this, he'll have left. But Sam, do you know what I realized? Do you know what I realized from this stream? In terms of African countries, he gained the most subscribers he gained from any African country. He gained over 360,000 subscribers from this stream.
At the time,
he did 5.1 million streams at the time, more than any other African country. And this is just after the stream is done, because you also accumulate views after the fact. So South Africa is currently at 4.9 million streams. Kenya is at 5.1 million streams now. So that number is going to rise, like, because people are going to watch it after it happened, for sure. What does this tell me? And then concurrent viewers is also true. Is also a stat that needs to be looked at. And I'll get to my point. But I watched his other streams in, like, Zimbabwe, Zambia, in Rwanda. Like, on average, like, the amount of viewers in stream, I would say, would be between like 40K and 80K or something like that, right? In Kenya, in the Kenyan stream, at least that he did on Sunday, there was, I kid you not, there was like 170K people in the stream concurrently for the longest time. Now, which is crazy, which is insane when you compare to other African countries. But here's the thing, though, that it baffles my mind. And we've said this before. Kenyans consume content rapidly. We are so digitally like tapped in.
Kenyans are one of the most technologically forward countries. And that's why
The
being a creative here is just very fruitful. But then, yeah, continue.
fruitful and confusing, because why don't we ever harness all that we like offer to other people for ourselves, like in a big way? It's so baffling to me, man. Like, bro, if somebody was able to harness those numbers for Kenyan benefit, right, would be so far ahead. But I feel like Kenyans, and I don't know if this is politically correct for me to say on the podcast, there's like sometimes I feel like there's there's an antagonistic kind of relationship with our own, in the sense that we'd much rather offer all this support to
someone else.
international
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
right? To even when I say international, I even mean other African like artists, right?
Yeah.
The reason, you see all this data that we've just seen happening right now, that's why Rema, that's why Burna Boy, that's why they come to our country. That's why they come to our country. But why can't we use those numbers to get our own crabs out of our own buckets? Like, why? It makes
Yeah.
no sense.
Yeah.
It makes no sense
and we
to
saw,
me, man.
We saw that towards the end of last year with the whole Kodong clan refusing to perform at the Stormzy and Gabzy the Tukutane
Not
event.
Stormzy, Gabzy and Ashake.
Stormzy and Gabzy.
Stormzy.
I was just naming all the Z's. I was just going through all the Z's. No, man, it's Ashake. Ashake and Gabzy and their show. And it's like, and also in previous editions, and we've heard it so many times, of why aren't our artists paid as much or treated as well as international acts when they come in here? And it's that same mentality. I don't know what it is about that. Maybe it's shame. I think someone needs to investigate that and write a paper about it. I feel like maybe it's shame. I think people are
Somebody
ashamed.
can
Are we
make a whole
ashamed of
thesis
that?
about this.
Yeah. We are ashamed of
I
our
don't
own people.
know.
Like, what's all of that about? And it's a consistent thing too.
Sam, we have no excuse. We have no excuse to not have a global superstar. We have the numbers, bro. Like, we have the hype. We have people who are tapped in, who will consume content avidly. We have everything. We have genuinely, Sam, we have zero excuse to not have a global superstar. It's actually embarrassing that we don't have one. Just based off what I'm seeing, I genuinely.
Yeah.
I know that sounds harsh, but genuinely, if you look at the way we consume content and we support other people, it's like, why aren't we giving? And I'm not saying we don't support our own. We do support our own, right? But not to the levels that I think we can, just based off of what I'm seeing. And I think it's just that crab in a bucket thing. Like, I feel like there's a fear that like we'll create something that just becomes bigger than us, and then it's like we'll lose control of that person, and then they'll forget us and they'll just leave us. You know, there's that fear of they'll leave us in the hood. Like, we'll still be stuck in the hood, but like everyone, that person will be gone.
Actually, and just to add on that, I think that also informs how we've seen a lot of people react to critics. Critics in the Kenyan scene. Because critics sometimes are demonized because they are not 100% supportive. And as part of growth, as part of an artist, if you're growing, you need to correct some of the things that you might not be doing properly. We have a lot of artists here who are really talented, but then there's just different ways that they lack. And critics call them out. There's a whole bunch of critics online. They call them out. But then the amount of hate that they get is a lot, because you don't want to see somebody in a weird, and you might not even be thinking about it, but then you don't want to see someone, you're not truly invested in success in the way it presents itself.
Yes. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I'll just say, you're not truly invested in success in the way it presents itself. You're just invested in what's presented in front of you. And so now when you see an artist being advised, or you see, or even individual artists themselves being advised, okay, you can do this better, or you can move better. And that's in order to get you out of the bucket that you're in, so that you can do better, you can fly more. Yeah, it's all about perspective. I don't know. You're going to say something. Sorry.
No, well, I was going to say something different, kind of different, because I feel like also people are invested in success as they see
Yeah.
success should be, as opposed to what success can be. Some people, I feel like, I can't believe we're talking about this again. Camp Mula. Yes, I said it again. Oh my God, like all these years
Yo, in
later, we're still talking about
2026
Kamula.
too.
But
That's
still,
crazy, man.
I know it's
That's
crazy. I'm sorry, hit
crazy.
me. But like, listen, bro, when they started, like, they also faced a lot of pushback because they weren't success as what people were comfortable
Yeah. Well,
seeing.
yeah. The sound.
Should
It was a
be
completely
successful,
different sound,
right?
completely different thing that they were doing.
And to be honest, in the early days, people used to hate on Camp Mula and just be like, nah, like we don't like no. But then until when you started seeing their music on Trace and all that stuff, and yeah, and that's when people were like, okay, wait, like the general, like Africa fucks with these guys, like, you know, like, okay, fine, then let's they're maybe they're good. But that's the thing. It's just a whole crabs in a bucket mentality where it's just, there's just a lot of that going on. But you know what? No more complaining. Me, I've seen it with my own eyes. Kenya has all the ingredients to build amazing creatives and just have a like super thriving creative scene. We have the numbers, we have people invested, like we have the access to digital devices and the internet way more than so many other African countries. We're done with excuses. Done. Sam, I'm saying it now. If we do not build an artist as big or like who has the same trajectory, and this is like a new artist, like, you know what I mean, if we don't build an artist who has that same trajectory as like a Rema or something in the next 5 years, we are hopeless. That's what
I mean, I
I'm
wouldn't say
saying now. We're
hopeless.
hopeless.
I'd just give them 5 more years
Hopeless.
after the 5 is done.
No, but
Just give
but
them-
Sam, we have everything.
infinite
We have
time.
all the ingredients, man. We
No,
have
yeah,
all
yeah,
the
we do.
ingredients, man.
It is. It's
The only way we don't build one is the whole crab in a bucket thing. If the all the crabs are pulling
each other down. Yeah,
everyone
it just
else
keeping
down
instead
and
of
everything.
let
That's just the
let
only
some
way.
crabs escape too. Like there's crabs in there stinking up the place too. Let them escape. Let them fly. Let them get out of the bucket. Free some space for
Crabs
the
can't
rest of us
fly.
in the
Wait,
bucket,
can
bro.
crabs fly? What do you mean? What do you mean?
I
Let
know
them
crabs.
fly?
in my bucket crabs. The bucket is what you make it. In my bucket crabs, the crabs have wings. I think that the second stage for me is once you escape the other crabs and you like kick them down, you grow wings. That's like level 2. It's like, you know, like when you're playing video games and then like the character evolves. I think the next level of the character of crabs is wings.
Bankai. And when that initial crab leaves the bucket, there'll be so many other crabs who will see that it's possible and the floodgates will open. Because let me tell you, this is how I view it. BN, Sauti Soul, they're still in the bucket. Still in the bucket. There's no one who's left the bucket yet. Like, if we're being real, there's nobody who has done what needs to be done at the level we can do it.
And sometimes,
no
unfortunately, the way life is, sometimes you fight everyone in the bucket and then you leave the bucket and then a seagull comes and sweeps you up and that's the end of it. But that's life, right? It doesn't always, it's not always rosy.
It's better to have, it'll have been better to, it's better to have tried than not to have tried at all. You know what I mean? You might as well be, bro, you'll just die of suffocation. At least you tried and you got snapped up by like some seagull,
musty crabby bucket, bro. And crabs don't even smell the best. Anyway, it's outside of the joking.
Yeah.
It's important to even check ourselves as individuals and as creatives. It's like, all right, am I genuinely fully supporting somebody, or am I afraid that their success is going to mean
expose?
It's going to tell me something about myself that I don't want to hear. You know, that's kind of where guys are in the world. But hey man, get out of the bucket. Get out the bucket.
Get out of the bucket, man. So yeah. Anyway, Speaking of getting out of the bucket, I think there's an opportunity here. I mean, we've always been talking about how things are going to like start like picking up in Africa, and so the organization HYBE are going to build a global platform for African talent. Now, HYBE was founded in, I believe it's South Korea, and they were known for housing like the big K-pop artists, and looks like they're expanding to Africa. So they've been expanding. They've really taken over Japan and the US and Latin America, China as well, India as well, and now they're kind of building the inroads towards Africa. So they announced a global management partnership with Brandon Hickson and Colin Gale, who are co-managers for Tyler from South Africa. And looks like they're building a management initiative designed to develop Africa-based artists for international markets. So HYBE will provide global support across touring, marketing, digital strategy, multimedia production, brand partnerships, and creative development. Now, for me personally, it's like, how can we get Kenyan artists like in this pipeline or invested in this pipeline? Obviously, initial opportunities will go to South African artists because that's who Brandon and Colin will know. They'll know Tyler, they'll know the ecosystem there in Southern Africa. But I do think this is a big opportunity. Like I keep on saying, so many people are really interested in African music, and I think this is one of those opportunities that can get our artists out of this proverbial crab in a bucket. So just keep your eyes peeled about what HYBE is doing in Africa. I think it's very interesting. Um, and yeah, that's something that me personally am keeping my pulse on. So Sam, do you want to talk about new music?
New music. Let's do it. 2026. 2026. We've gotten a couple of drops. People are busy. Yeah, the first towards the end of the last 2 weeks of the year, Spotify didn't even bother. They didn't even bother, man, on holiday. But luckily they're back. Thank you to all the interns over there who are back working. We appreciate you guys. Releases. I After Streets Up by Jaquil, Prodluigi, and Elchi. It's interesting. Interesting raps. I liked what Elchi did for the most part. I thought it was pretty solid rapping. Jaquil as well. I like how he addressed that people keep saying people say that he sounds better rapping in Swahili, and he kept switching from English to Swahili, just to antagonize them, I guess. I don't know. But good joint, well produced. Shout out to Prodluigi, kicking off the year in style.
No, listen. Jaquil. You got washed by Elchi, man, bro. Like, come on. Okay, anyway, let me not be problematic, but bro, I think Elchi's verse was the highlight of the song, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Should have been verse number one. Hey,
Yeah,
I don't know.
that was good, pretty good. Willie Paul gave us his New Year's resolution. The song is called "Party This Year," so I'm pretty sure a lot of people out there who can relate. Shout out to him. Sofian Zhao released a song with Sama, I guess from US, called Kamwana, starting off the year in style. Nesmburu as well, with a song called Mwana. Continuing the Unts, I guess it'll be interesting to see. Well, I'm really happy with what happened last year in terms of the Afro house scene. I would like to see us do a little bit, like push a bit more in terms. I feel like if we can, it's easy to get stuck in that Afro house mold that we've been in for a while, which is great, and of course we still need eyes and exposure with that sound. It'll be cool to see a couple. Like, I know there's a couple of people who are doing like really, really interesting things that are out of the ordinary. So it'll be cool to see that come up. Kasiva Mutua. Last year, she started off the year with a big bang with her project. Super, super amazing. She started off this year again. She collaborates with Brent Isak. And the song is called Semba. Shout out to her. She's an incredible artist and definitely one that I hope gets the level of recognition that she needs. I mean, she does perform outside a lot, so that's cool. Hopefully she can perform a little. Like, we'd like to see a lot more. She was at Gecko at some point. Would like to see a lot more of her around. Yeah, that's mostly what I paid attention to. No, pause. Yeah, listen. Dropped a track called Sambaratika. Shout out to Listen, man. He's like, if you've been following him, like, he's really, really, really like coming to his own sound and what he wants to do. So man, it's just good stuff, man. Looking forward to seeing what you drop. I know you have a couple of albums on the way as well. So shout out to you. Let's see what the year brings. What did you listen to?
Okay, so Sam, you've more or less said everything that I listened to. I guess
not a lot out.
Songs that there wasn't a lot out. Yeah, so the songs that I didn't listen to would have been Blue Sky by Cheru and Clark King, and then Stingumpia by Kilundizi. Shout out to him. Signed by Petrus, and then two songs that came out last week. So this is, on the Uns side. Carnival and Gooms, as well as Instant Touch, released a song called Home. It was part of the Club Record Volume 1. And then Foozak also released a song called Prophecy with KUZO, KE, and AMYRA. Really, 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 really fire. Really, really hard. That song, Prophecy. I mean, I'm not even an like Afro house like person, but I can respect when I listen to good music. So shout out to them for releasing that last week. Sam, what do you want to play for our podcast listeners for the end of the episode?
Yeah. So this week, Mutoriah and Ayrosh teamed up together to give us a song called Day One. Last year was supposed to be the year of compa. Everyone was saying that. I guess this year is going to be the year of compa again because it's a compa track. I think it's produced by Mutoriah. It's good to hear Ayrosh out again. So yeah, I mean, pretty cool. So this week we're going to go with Day One by Mutoriah and Ayrosh.
Kumadewanu kaire tukama sinani kumadewanu nadwa nyumba gaikinya kaire tukama sinani kumadewanu wanatukenywa neidosito uerelio dasinani. You're the best thing in the city. Oh, baby, take it easy. Wanna to get you a night on Sito. Where you're dancing on you. The best thing in the city. Oh, baby, take it easy. Yakudira kuma dewanu. Dewanu. Kuma dewanu. Dewanu. Leo mimi nawe hadi Sunday, sema unanitaka pandekane, twende home mama, twende kupati nimezima phone wanipati nimekuwa job on a daily, kwani pesa ni ya kazi gani? If not to spend it on somebody, I gotta spend it on you. Leo nakufunza siri ya Day one. Magaikinya aire tukama sinani
That was Mutoriah Ayrosh with Day One. Like I said, I'm glad to see Ayrosh out, man. I hope he releases a lot more music this year. Obviously, I think Mutoriah is definitely going to have a busy year. He just looks like he's going to have a busy year, so he's always working. Shout out to them and shout out to every single person who recorded or released some music.
Yes, sir, man. Oh, I also forgot during the speed stream, man, when he gets into the matatu. It was really cool to see him because they're playing Kenyan music, and I was like, hey, they're listening to Chinje and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Bro, that was hard.
That was cool.
That was tough.
I was even thinking about that.
That was tough.
Even thinking about that, it's interesting because that's an experience you can't get anywhere else in the world. Like being in a matatu, playing that, like that's a uniquely Kenyan thing. So. Man, W is in the. I was gonna say W is in the chat.
In the no, W is in the shot.
W is in the
electronically online will know.
Yeah. Shout out to Speed, man. Shout out
to Mr. Speed. And shout out to you guys, man. Happy New Year, man. Obviously we decided to take a week's break, but we're back and rejuvenated and energized to offer this podcast to y'all. We started this podcast because we want to see Kenyan music artists paid more and played more, and we also want to see Kenyan artists at the level that they deserve to be, man. So let's not hold each other back. Let's just be supportive of whatever it is that comes out from our country. Let's support it, man. And yeah, man, if you're new to this podcast, I usually like to end the podcast with the 3 C's, which is kind of like a mantra that I devised for myself to kind of get better at this music thing. The first C being craft. Always. Well, okay, I'll start with craft today. Always work on your craft. Every day spend some time towards your passion, even if it's only 5 minutes. Number 2, confidence. Always be confident in what you offer, what you bring to the table, man. Because if you are confident about it, that confidence will seep into other people. And number 3, consistency, which in my opinion is better than anything else. It's better than talent. 100%. Always be consistent in how you're releasing music, how you're making music. Just be consistent. And yeah, man, Sam. Episode 1 of 2026, man.
Fact. Yep. More to come, I guess. Shout out
more to come.
More to come. And yeah, go out there and be great. I don't have anything else. I don't have.
Be great. Be great, and don't be limited by the gatekeepers and the people pulling you down. You know, one last thing. Like, just seeing how Speed moved and how he's moved even during this whole like tour in Africa. He's just done his own thing. Like people were like, like you have to see this content creator and this. This is not just in Kenya, like even in other African countries. You have to do this and this and that. But one thing I realized about the real people who are really successful in life is like they kind of carve their own path. Like they kind of just create, they disrupt. They do their own thing and kind of go outside of color outside of their lines. And for me, that's very inspiring. And I think it should be for you as well listening to this, because if there's gatekeepers, if there's people who you feel are like standing in between you and what you want to do, I promise you, you don't have to go that way. You can actually just go around them. You really can. If you really sit down and think about it for real. And that's what's going to put you on the map way more than just going it the conventional way. Trust me, that's what I feel like that's what I've observed. And I think when I think about things like that, I feel very inspired. So yeah.
Trust Afam. Yeah. We'll catch you guys on the next episode, unless you have anything else.
Yes, sir. We'll see you guys on episode 165.